everyone, it's Louise with louisemckayart and welcome to my channel. And today I'm taking a moment to do a brief overview of this creation, as this is something I've never done before. And there's really no paint pour involved in this, but there is acrylic painting involved in this, and there is wood, natural wood. And in fact, this piece of wood harkens back to the Helene days, the Hurricane Helene back in September, and it's a piece of wood that I'm using from that. So I'm going to do a lot of fast forwarding and voicing over during this video, and to try to keep it as concise as possible. And this is a really strange one, so I hope you like it, and let's get started. So everyone, this is the raw piece of wood as it started in September of last year. I let it sit 6 months to dry out, and then I sanded it down. I have a video 332 I'll link above that shows the tools you need for wood preparation, and then I use that natural wood oak stain I'm showing you there. And then I was trying to figure out what to do with this thing, and then it just occurred to me, I have so many natural markings on this piece of wood that I decided to use my Fluidart shading gray just to enhance it a little bit and bring it a little bit more to life. And that's what I'm doing here, just a paintbrush, a little bit of the shading gray, and just filling it in as we go. The thing about these wood pieces, especially in their raw form versus when you get it cleaned up, is that it oftentimes takes a while to figure out what I'm going to do with it. What is going to be the color combination? What will be the technique? What will be the orientation? All these things. And sometimes it takes quite a while to figure out what I'm going to do. And this one really took me a long time. And I'm not even sure if I really figured out the right thing to do with this. But I went ahead and just decided to go with what I felt like was the right thing to do in honor of this piece of wood and what it's been through, what we've been through, and how to kind of resuscitate this back to life to be something that can be enjoyed again. So I'm going to speed up through this and cut out a lot of this, but you get the idea of what I'm doing here, and then I'm going to be skipping ahead to the next section. Okay, so in the waning light here, I hope I've got it where I think I want it. It just jumps out at me. So here we go. So what I do next, you shall see, because I'm not even sure what I'm going to do next myself. And my plan here is to do a outliner on the larger pieces, the larger of the darker pieces here. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but I'm just kind of going with the flow. I hope you're sticking around with me. Hopefully, if this is a video I'm showing you, that it's worth watching to the end, in my opinion. This is Sennelier 3D liner in the iridescent gold, and I've never used this before. So I'm going to pick out some of the larger ones, and I'll just outline it, and we'll see what happens. We'll just start. So I'm just going to pop in here with a little voiceover. My intention here with the outliner is to create a little berm so that I can either resin within each one of those little pockets or use the Tri-Art liquid glass, which I have not used either. And we'll see what happens. And in case you're wondering what the background sound is, we're not being attacked by aliens. It just happens to be the 17-year cicadas that are out in full force right here. It would help me if the sun was on this side, and then I could see where I'm actually going. It was also very important that this outliner doesn't break up on me, but I was quite challenged by that, as you can see here. I'm not sure if I'm liking this one. I have another one I could try. So I'm going to circle out the center piece here. This is rough on the thumb. I'm gonna try another one of these and see if I like it better. I'll be right back. Okay, this is Pebio's in the gold. So to save some time here as you watch me struggle, this happened to be a hand-me-down from another artist that I'm trying to use. So it's probably old and dry. I end up giving up on this and going to my next attempt. I don't know how I'm going to apply resin in there without messing up, because I need a thicker bead. I might try something else. I might try a glue gun too. Okay, so I'm going to try this glue gun here. It's much easier to operate. And if you've ever worked with a hot melt gun, you know that it takes a couple minutes for it to warm up so that the plastic gets warm and can be pliable enough to squirt through the gun. Just gotta get this new stick incorporated into the fold here. Okay, so those are my couple practice runs. I don't know if you saw that. I'm gonna try this again. I'll try it on this one. Let's see. I might have to sand that back off, decide how this goes. I'm gonna speed up and zoom in so you can see this up close on my first one. So here I'm going at around 5 times the speed just to give you the gist of what I'm doing. And at the end here, I end up using the glue gun throughout this entire piece, and I end up going back in and taking out those outliners and just peeling them off. Actually, they peeled off too easy. So I'm actually glad I went with the glue gun, which turned out pretty good. I think I ended up using about 10 glue sticks for this particular creation. So I'm just gonna go over this real quick to show you guys. So sometimes when I push off the back, it actually helps get this glue gun going. So all I'm trying to do here is just get an outline, a berm. So when I go back in with resin, I'll have a berm that the resin can stay within the confines of. So yeah, it's that simple. So I'm gonna have little decorative colors within each one of these. Now the nice thing about this glue gun is that the glue gun actually gives me a place to swim this resin between. So I'm just gonna touch base with you guys. So I've done all these already. So before I go any farther, I'm going to spray it with some clear satin, and then we're gonna go from there as to what exactly I'm going to do. But you are seeing this unveil as I'm imagining it in real time. And here it is after spraying it with the satin varnish. All right, everyone, I'm back for the next step of this piece. If it turns out, I'm definitely going to be showing you this video, but where I am now is just to let you know, I probably showed you this, but I put the hot melt to outline the natural dark pieces that were in this piece of wood, and then I spray varnished it with this clear satin by Krylon. And if you're wondering what the background noise, these are the 17-year cicadas in the background. And I'm outside because it's just so beautiful. I don't want to be doing this inside. But anyway, sprayed it twice with this to get this nice, this is satin. But look how sheeny it is. It's not shiny, it's just got a nice finished look about it. Then what I did is I started playing with some different colors to put in these little capsules within the hot melt. I had all kinds of colors I tried, and I was originally thinking a whole different idea, but then I pulled out this metallic by Rust-Oleum or Modern Masters. They're both the same. It's the Venetian blue, and once I put that on, I thought, oh, I'm gonna do that. So my intention is to use the Venetian blue, probably this that I just discovered today, which was a give me paint from Kathleen from Cost Creations. It's called Dragon's Eye, and it's from Art Alchemy. So I might use that in some of the eyes that I have here, some of the circles. That color is this one. I tried it all out on wood to see how it was gonna show up. And then the green. This is the green I've got right now I'm gonna work with. And that's this green, which is a combination of deep green by Artist Loft and emerald green by Deco Art, with a little bit of Golden's Black in it. Now what I did for this color is I ended up adding pouring medium to it, my bloom pouring medium to it, to get it to this point where it's actually fluid, so I can paint with it. So I want to leave this in the shade for right now. My question is then, how do I want to do this? So my thinking is I'm going to leave some of these natural, probably gloss varnish them. Oh, one other thing. These three here I did trials on yesterday. This color's not, the point is the trial. On these two I used Tri-Art liquid glass, and on this one I just used gloss varnish that I just painted on with a brush. This here I just kind of squirted in the Tri-Art, and it came out good, but it's so hard to work with because it's self-leveling. On this piece here that's not perfectly level, there's no way in heck I'm going to get this to work. And I do not want to resin on this because it's going to be impossible to try to resin and have it stay flat. Even with these little bits here, I know you can't see it, but the Tri-Art, it all tilted to one side, even with this amount of unflat, which is pretty flat. So no resin is going to happen and no Tri-Art. So I'm just going to go with regular gloss resin when I get to that point. So my question is now, where do I go with these colors? I'm definitely using the blue, I'm definitely using the green, and I'm definitely using gold. I don't know where I'm going to go with this. And I'm also going to leave some of it natural. So I wish I could have you guys help me out here as to where to go with the green and the other colors. So I'm going to be thinking and just looking at this. I've got to think about it from an artistic perspective, because, do I want to have them all interspersed with each other, or do I want to have like the natural on the outside with the colors filtering down the center? These are all thoughts that go through my mind for days. How do I want to do this? How do I want to sprinkle in the gold? And maybe I think too much. I'm going to start here for the green. And I just have to get going. I can't just sit here looking at this, staring at this. So, by the way, I've got several brushes here that I can use. Okay, I'll start with that. And I'm going to go with this brush. And we're going to go right like this. I might need to have two brushes though. All right, let's just give it a shot. Kind of dabbing it on. So after days of trying to figure out what I was going to do with this, I'm going to share with you something a little bit personal with what I did. This might sound hokey, but I literally put my hands on the piece and I literally asked the piece to guide me. That's crazy. I just said, can you give me some insight? Give me some idea what you want me to do with you. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that this is what it said, but this is along the lines of what I thought it was talking about. It definitely was talking about using the lines that were already there. And then this harkens back to when I was a kid. What I used to love to do is get a piece of paper and just literally, I say literally, don't I? And scribble on it. And I would scribble, and I have to use a smaller brush in there. This looks really pretty, actually. So let me finish the story. Okay, so I would scribble, and then I would go in behind that, and then I would color in the scribble, much like I'm doing right here. Only in those days, I was just using a crayon. And then I come up with these really colorful creations. I hang them on my wall, in my bedroom. So that's it kind of harkened back to that when I was thinking about doing something like this. I need a smaller brush for these small spots. So yeah, so this is what I'm doing. And so I'm gonna go through this, I'll pick out spots to do the green, and then decide how I'm gonna go from there. Because the green is what I wanted to start with, just because this is just beautiful. And I thought green went really well with this, although the blue goes really good too. So with that, I think I might just go on fast forward at this point and play some music. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to go on fast forward here. I'm going to skip a lot, but show you just some of the big chunks, and I'll be back whenever I get ready for the next phase. So I'm back, and just gonna, obviously I've changed a few things. I've added a color. I lightened up the green. I added some Artist Soft Metallic green to it and lightened it up. I think that color works better. And I've added this pink, which is called Spring Blossom by Metallic, Art Academy Metallic. So this is how I'm going to go throughout the whole thing. I'm not going to show you everything because it's going to probably be hours. But that's okay. But what I wanted to show you now, some of these patches I'm going to leave natural. Some of these are just really nice by themselves. I'm using Clear Gloss by Minwax. So I have not done this before, so you're seeing me do this first try. I'm going to absorb some of this into the cup, or into the dropper, and then just drop it in. Hopefully it'll just fill in. And then I'll spread it around with probably should have a toothpick somewhere nearby. Okay, let me get a toothpick since I'm not prepared. I don't even want to brush it. Just let it fill itself in. Are you kidding me? Something just fell into it. This is why I can't resin this, because it's just too dependent on level. Matter of fact, I probably should take some of the varnish out. See if I can get some of it out. Actually, I have another idea. Good Lord, you're seeing me, all these ideas. So here I'm using a little pipette to suction some of the varnish out, but in the end, I end up not going with the Minwax. I end up going with the Liquitex gloss varnish, as I'm showing here. I did a test off camera with Liquitex and it just laid much cleaner and smoother, so I went with that instead. And the pipette worked great for removing some of the excess varnish out of there. So in the end, I do end up varnishing the pockets that are just natural, and then once the paint is dry and all the pockets I do paint, I end up varnishing that as well with the Liquitex gloss varnish. And I think for now I'm going to go on fast forward again and skip out a lot of pieces just so you get a feel for what I'm doing here. But I know now not to add so much. I can always add more. I honestly can't take it away. And it's probably unlikely you're going to do anything like this, but it's the learning that's important. Having a tool that you know how to use in the right moment. I could never have done this with resin. With some of these, I'm going to leave them natural. I'm going to do the same thing with those. And then some of these I'm going to fill in with a gold, this iridescent gold. I want it to look like everything is running down. So it's all just a matter of looking at this thing, and then I've actually had to take this and just look at it for a little while to decide what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to go with the pink right now, or this spring blossom. And I want to have the colors offset from each other. So thinking about doing a blossom over there. It's okay because my focus is not getting it done. My focus is to have fun and see what I come up with. And my attitude is, if you're worried about how long something's taking or how much effort is involved, maybe this is not the thing to do. This kind of project, and neither are my fusions, are something that you would just expect to, you know, slam bam, thank you ma'am, you're done. Here it is. These take some thinking, they take some trial and error. As you saw yesterday, my pieces of wood that I tested on, especially when you're doing something new. But you see, I'm not just painting. This painting is not going to lay it on thick enough. This, I'm just kind of dabbling it on. I baby these things. I baby these things until they're done. If you don't mind taking your time, seeing it develop, try different things. Hey everyone, so I just wanted to touch base with where we are. This is going to be the top, I believe. And here we go toward the bottom. And I have some fixes to make, but I wanted to touch base and let you know my thinking at this point. As I'm going along here, my idea here is because I have, well, first of all, I'm switching over to my Liquitex high gloss varnish with water in my natural areas because it's just got a much better sheen. That's this one and this one. And I'm going to go into all the natural spots with this, and I'll probably use this for all of the pockets when I get done with all the painting. So that's number one. I got rid of the Minwax and went to this instead with my 80% Liquitex high gloss varnish and 20% water. And actually using this gave me an idea for something else. I will talk about that later. So what I decided to do, because this one here is a very interesting piece, especially the way I've outlined it out. It was going to be my natural piece, which I'm going to have it natural, and then I'm going to fill it in with the different colors and different pockets. You know, blue, green, gold, or blue, green, peach, blue, green, peach, and kind of the story, if you want to call it a story, because when I'm creating something, it's nice to have a story behind it, is that this natural piece becomes colorful and then leads into all these other colors independently down as we drip toward the bottom. That's my story. So I just wanted to touch base with you as far as where I am. So anyway, I just wanted to cover where I was right now, and I'll be back when I have it all fully finished. So everyone, that's pretty much a wrap. I just wanted to insert here the moss collection I got from Hobby Lobby that I did insert into some of the cracks and crevices of this piece that you'll see here. And tying back to what I just said, at the very top there you see the blue, peach, and green together in several spots. My story is with this Hurricane Helene piece is that you start out small as a small group all together, and then eventually as you grow and you develop, you become an independent and self-sustaining part of the community, as we all did with Hurricane Helene, where we all came together in the beginning to help each other out of this mess and ultimately become an independent yet stronger community in the end. So I hope you enjoyed this, everyone. And if you're new here and haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, hit the bell and all. Give me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. And a comment, I get back to everybody. And at the end, I will have a link to my Fusion playlist. And I think that's all I have, guys. Check out my description for different links to products and some of my other videos. And we'll see you again next time. Thanks a lot, everybody. Take care.